I think so.
I'm good, how are you?
Good for you. Hi, Matt, how are you? Oh, not too bad. How are you doing?
To Marie.
Oh, so much stuff.
How many do you need? How many do you need? I don't have 50. I'll give you what I have. I think I have like 30. Oh. I might have a few in my car, but I don't know that I have that many.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Take that in.
What meeting are you going to, Mary? What meeting is this for?
I'm doing my.
Oh, yeah. How nice.
Okay. Here I am. Come on. Here when I have nothing to do.
Oh, good. Yeah, that presentation with the ant farm went really well. Okay. Yes. This is 30 minutes. Come on.
Why are you not working?
Do you have one? Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Oh, he's
What?
Totally rude.
No.
Yes.
Oh, I am close.
I'll call the order.
Okay.
But I just.
I would like to call, to order the April Budget Committee meeting, of the Mount Hood Community College Board of Education. I declare a quorum for tonight's Budget Committee with the following directors present: Annette Matson,
Here?
Diane McKeel,
Here?
Shatoya Bentley, I'm here, Andrew Spear,
Here?
Dana Stroud, here, Marie Tooney, here, and Diane Noriega.
Here.
Yeah. Item 2.0, public input for persons wishing to provide public comment about the budget. We ask that you sign up by using the hand raise feature available at the bottom right corner of the Zoom screen by clicking on the 3 horizontal dots labeled More. If you joined by phone, please press *9 to raise your hand. Please clearly state your full name, address, and organization affiliation, if any, for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes per speaker. There will be public comment available during the regular board meeting that follows this meeting for other items not related to the budget. We will now hear public input at this time. Roxanne, are there any hand raised for public input?
There are no public input in person or online.
All right, thank you. Public input is now closed. All right, we're gonna do item 3.0, reports. Item 3.1, ASMHCC budget presentation. I would like to invite John Hamlin to please present the ASMHCC budget for 2025-2026.
All right, I've got some co-presenters coming up here with me. We'll let them do introductions while I get the presentation displayed here.
My name is Dr. Adio Ayala, Director for the Office of Student Life and Civic Engagement. So I work with the student government and the cultural club program.
And I am Isaiah Simeon Figueroa. I was actually in here last month to give the monthly report, but I'm here now to represent the Finance Council and being the Financial Affairs Representative.
John Hamlin, Vice President of Student Development. All right, you ready?
Yeah. So this slide is basically getting more into detail about the student fee accounts, since there's 3 separate ones. And the beginning is also sort of explaining the purpose of the associated students. You can see the student fee accounts are 3 of them. 50 is the clubs that we hold here, 51 is the trust, and 52 is the student activity fee. The trust fund and the incentive accounts are there to support the student clubs and student organization educational goals. And then this, I'm not going to get too into detail since it's so long, but the co-curricular programs alignment with MHCC goals. You can see objective A5, objective B4, objective C7, and objective B2. And here's a list of the co-curricular programs. So the student activity fee is taken from the students and divided up, split between the co-curricular programs, which you can see there, and the athletic programs. So last slide was a list of the co-curricular programs, and this slide is a list of the athletic programs that we have on Mount Hood, and both are funded via the student activity fee. And here is the Finance Council timeline. In the beginning, in the fall term, the Student Life Office works for giving the enrollment projections, and then that same term and into winter term, the Co-Curricular Finance Council meets weekly, which I chaired, and then the Athletic Finance Council also meets at the same times, which I'm there to sort of oversee it and just look and not really participate. Afterwards, the students get a budget open forum, which is basically explaining what we held in those finance councils and giving the students the information that they need, considering that it's their fees. And then after that, Finance Council comes to the ASMHCC meeting and sort of asks for approval for their projections. And then ASMHCC approves the budgets and then presents the budgets to the college president and the Board of Education, which is what we're doing now. And this one is a visual on the student activity fee history per credit. It begins in 2019. You can see that it's $4 per credit. And then from 2020 to 2024, so those 4 years, it stayed the same. And then 2025, proposing 25-cent increase to the student activity fee for the next academic year. And then this is an explanation of why the increase. The beginning is sort of saying how it's aligned with the goals and how we just want to improve the quality. And then at the bottom, it's sort of numbered of what it really does, and more specifically. You can see just maintaining stuff, enhancing quality, supporting and increasing student engagement and involvement. Yeah, and then this one is a really detailed sort of look at it. So it's co-curricular and athletic financial statements, which can be found on page 83 in the budget book. Would you like to add on more?
Yes, I think you have it in there. Basically, what we wanted to point out here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 columns. The fourth line that talks about adopted, that was the current year that we are in, and then the 2025, 2026 is what we proposed. And so the number that you're seeing there is basically, we'll get to another section, but that will explain where each line goes to for the program that requested the money. And so you can see the differences there with the new proposal of the 25 cents. Is the 47,000 is the differences of those this year and this current year and next year that we are going to have. And so that one is basically a projection for the student activity fee for what we are proposing right now. And then when you go to the bottom, the very bottom numbers, it basically talks about our contingency account. So contingency account here means that that is what we have in our balance right now that we're still working on. As the business office, the fiscal year has not ended yet, so it's not showing the details. But that is what our in-fund balance are for the contingency for this year and compared to next year, what we're going to be carrying forward.
And Doctor, I think it was 2 years ago, we had that conversation of contingency in relation to this budget, and I think we had talked about whether or not the students would create their own policy around the threshold. Did the students do that?
Yes, actually we did that, so the year that you guys suggested, they did the feasibility studies and did a survey. And then this year, they're actually implementing it. So as we said, we have 706 students are voting right now to ratify the constitution or the bylaws. And in there, they said that they are going to keep like 40%, of the income balance. So that's what they want to maintain moving forward.
40% of?
The revenue collected.
Oh, okay.
So currently, right now, in the third column over, in the below total revenues, beginning fund balance, that's what they have in savings. And we'll go over some of the things that they did for purchases this last year as well too with that account. But this is an account that we were reimbursing when enrollment was down through the pandemic as well too for lost revenue. So in the last few years, it's had $1.2 million in those accounts. We're increasing the fee, but also they want to maintain a very healthy balance. When I started overseeing, before Dr. was here, I started overseeing ASMHCC, and I probably have shared this, but I got the phone call from the business office saying, you guys are overspent already, and it was fall. We were $54,000 overspent. So we really quickly went through the finance council process that year and established, we've set aside $35,000 in those first few years. And then I think at that point in time, we had some underspending through the pandemic. We also had some reimbursement essentially for lost revenue as well too during the pandemic that really set ASMHCC up to have a very healthy in-fund balance.
Yeah.
So the 40% for them, I mean, when they're sitting on $911,000 for this next year is their beginning fund balance. That's a very, very healthy, so I know the board would love a 40% in fund balance with our budget. We'd probably be underspending as well too, but with ASMHCC, they really want to save those funds, just recognizing if there is a downturn in enrollment, lower fee coming in, they don't want to have to increase the fee substantially at that time. So they're trying to have a balanced approach to it as well. And that's every year we have that conversation about the fee increase, and we're looking at that in-fund balance and going, do we need to do it right now? Is now the appropriate time for it? And I think they're at that point now where they're doing some spending. They're not overspending at this point. They're actually able to make some pretty big commitments as well too that you'll see later in the presentation. So.
Thank you.
Point of correction, that's the 35%. So I just pulled it out, so
Okay.
35% that they want of their revenue should be kept as reserve at the end of the fiscal year for unforeseen.
Okay, we can get into this slide, which is the, another visual of the revenue and expenditure history for the co-curricular. You can see the green revenue, the red sort of see it as the expenditures, and then the black is the funding balance, which goes through the years.
And so when you look at 2022, let's say 2020 to 2022, you can see that the green lines are kind of up, and that was when COVID came and we had in the funding balance, but we're not really doing activities. And then, as you can see, when this college started having in-person and enrollment was coming back out, we are starting to see a lot of students coming in and cost of other things. So as you can see, we are evening out there with the expenditure and revenue.
And this was actually, so I talked about it earlier, we had an open forum to the students. This was a visual that we gave to them when we were answering questions or when we received them. It's a co-curricular and athletics 2025 through the 2026 proposed budget. Far left is the different programs. To the right of that is the adopted 2024 through the 2025 budget. And then to the right of that is 2025, 2026 requested budget, and then the last is the difference. You can see the difference is pretty high for the ASMACC admin, which is caused by one-time costs we got a box truck for the Barney Pantry, and we also got a new sound system for the student union and even outside.
And you can see, go back one more, the KMSD2. I don't know if you guys have been to walking around campus, but they requested for money to help with the sound system, so they want to connect the radio station to the sound system so that when students are hanging out, they can hear the music. And so we just got those installed. Right now it's playing from an iPad, but we are waiting for the software. So that was just one-time ask, and that's why it's showing at the 33,000.
And if you remember the old speakers, they're like a wooden box with the brown grate on it, so they've been replaced with some really nice outdoor speakers, because I don't think those were technically outdoor speakers, they were outdoor.
And this is a visual of the Barney Pantry usage. Far left is the years, starting in 2017, and then after that is the visits, and then after that is the number of people served. So you can really see a jump in 2023, which a lot of people came back from the pandemic, a lot of economic stuff, and so far it's been the same since. Thank you, and this time for questions.
Looks good. Yeah. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions?
I just had a question on the front, I think it was one of the first two slides. It talked about the usages of the fund and the revenue earned as being staff costs. And I was curious how that runs through. Is that, like, how does it, and what staff does it fund through the?
Yes, so most of our athletics coaches, salaries,
Okay.
the Barney Pantry coordinator, and then it is on that. The student union, we have the program assistant who is basically the admin, is half from general fund and student union.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Great, thank you.
Oh, he did such a nice job, see?
We clap for it.
We can.
All right, item 4.0, proposed budget for 2025, 2026. Item 4.1, consideration and approval of 2025, 2026 budget. We have Jennifer Dement. Please present for consideration and approval.
Thank you. So I don't have a formal presentation. We presented the budget at our last meeting. I think I've closed the loop with everyone that had outstanding questions, but I'm happy to take any other questions that people have about the budget. If not, there is a resolution in the packet, that, the amounts should be read officially, that to approve the budget. And then the next step after the approval of the budget is, for the budget to go to the Tax Supervising Conservation Commission, who will hold a public, hearing for that in June. And then our board, who is very different from our budget committee, will, will adopt the budget in June. So that's the next steps for that, the budget piece. But I'm happy to take questions too.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Any questions?
So our next step then is the resolution? Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay.
All right, I will now read the recommendation as stated on the resolution included in the board packet. The recommendation is that the Budget Committee moves to approve the Mount Hood Community College District 2025-2026 budget of $383,129,761, included in the general fund budget in the amount of $100,109,740, and all other budgets in the amount of $283,020,021. May I have a motion to approve the proposed 2025-2026 budget?
So moved?
All right, moved by Andrew and second by Dana. We will now move to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Oh,
All right, we will now move forward with item 4.2, set the tax levy for 2025-2026. Jennifer, please present, information to set the tax levy for 2025-2026.
Okay, so this is a little bit different than what we've seen in recent years. We have our permanent tax rate, which is the amount that was locked in the mid-90s that we can assess for general operating expenses. And so that rate is $0.4917 dollars per 1,000 of assessed value. So that hasn't changed since the mid-90s. You've seen that every year in the budget. The second row on this resolution is to impose taxes for a general obligation bond debt service. So as you all know, we have a bond on the May ballot. And if that bond passes, we will need to be able to assess property taxes to make the debt service payment. So this is an estimated amount of the debt service payment. It's a little hard to do given that we haven't sold debt or passed the bond yet. And it's grossed up by about 5% because there's like about 5% of our property taxes that are uncollectible. So people that don't pay their taxes on time. And so that one isn't a rate per value or rate per 1,000 of assessed value. That one is just a total amount that we want to impose for all of the debt service. So it kind of comes through a little bit differently. But happy to take any questions about this. If the bond does not pass, this would not go forward to the board in June. It would be revised and just have the permanent tax rate.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Are there any questions? All right. I will now read the recommendation as stated on the resolution included in the board packet. The recommendation is to approve the permanent tax rate in the amount subject to the education limitation at 0.4917 by 1,000 of assessed value. May I have a motion to approve setting the tax levy for 2025, 2026?
So moved.
And I didn't see that second piece of that, so it's on one of the thinking signs, but you want to read that. So we just read it.
This is the general obligation?
Mhm.
I think you just.
Okay. Also, the general obligation debt service, the type is voted approved general obligation bonds. Did I state the amount? Okay. But the amount of 9 million? Yeah, 9,250,000 and $532. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, and could I get a second?
Second?
All right, moved by Diane McKeel, second by Andrew Spears. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The Budget Committee would like to thank Jennifer Demet for her team, for their leadership, and her team, for their leadership in this year's budget development.
Thank you.
All right, and now we are adjourning the Budget Committee. Could I have a motion to adjourn the Budget Committee meeting?
Second?
All right, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. We adjourn.
With conviction.
Yeah.